And we are live. We are live. I hope everyone can hear us and see us properly, guys. अगर आप बराबर सब सुन देख सकते हो तो प्लीज एक thumbs up छोड़ दो comments पे. But we are
Thumbs
back
down,
live, Ajay
thumbs
bhai.
up you.
Uh, yeah, we are back live after a while. And first of all, obviously, Serie A के बारे में बात करेंगे, Italian
एक
football
मिनट
के बारे में
You
बात.
are back after a while. You are back.
I am definitely back after a while. बहुत काम में अटका था, ऐसा नहीं कि अभी एकदम से फ्री हो गया हो, but at least have some time on my hand to definitely join a stream. But before we get into all of it, before we talk about Roma versus Napoli, before we talk about generally what's happening in the world of Calcio, I think आज की stream का यही point है थोड़ा एक. While we've been doing streams, obviously we've been busy with obviously our new IP Cappuccino पे चर्चा as well. तो उसमें हमारे थोड़े स्ट्रीम्स की फ्रीक्वेंसी कम हो गई है, सो we'll be doing a general catch up on the in the world of Calcio. But before that, Ajay bhai, how are you doing? How is everything? Because you look like एकदम fit version, like एकदम अलग लेवल का fitness दिख रहा है आपके चेहरे पे. क्या चल रहा है?
All good, yeah. Living each day as it comes. I don't know what's going to happen end of the season. But abhi to filhal things are rosy. I would say in terms of league position, it's good in terms of performances. Even if Roma were not at the top of the table, I think I like that Gasperini ball जो उसका अटलांटा का एक ट्रेडमार्क है जो गैस बॉल खिलाता था वो थोड़ा थोड़ा करके आ रहा है. यू कैन सी द प्लेयर्स are buying into that Gasperini philosophy. So pretty happy in that aspect. Long way to go. Season तो बहुत लंबा है. You know, it's अभी तो it doesn't matter. It counts, when it comes to match day 38 की who's at the top of the table and who's where. But all is well otherwise. I think एक अच्छा transition रहा है from Ranieri to Gasperini. Hopefully, because Param, I have seen this movie many a time with Roma, knowing how Roma are. I just hope कि भाई ये सीजन अच्छे से निकल जाए बस और कुछ नहीं.
Fair. Obviously, we'll talk about all of that. Let me first see who's in the house. जो भी देख रहा है, please do like, share, and subscribe to Calcio Church. Again, we've appreciated all the support you've shown on Cappuccino Pe Charcha, because if you've seen, the whole point of it is to give fan clubs a voice, and it's something different from Italian football जो हम करने का ट्राई कर रहे हैं. Obviously, Italian football तो हमारा main bread and butter, it's the main thing we will always do. बट हमें एक ऐसी चीज करनी थी एडिशनली जिसमें हम फैंस को और जान सके, इंडिया के फुटबॉल फैंस को उनके फैन क्लब्स की स्टोरी के बारे में जान सके. और अगर आप देखो तो हमने हर एक जो भी क्लब है उसको इटालियन क्लब के साथ पेयर करके उस पर बातें की है. सो definitely thank you and appreciate all the support you guys are showing, and hopefully that will go a long way as well. And don't worry, उसमें भी एक Calcio special episode आएगा, so there's a lot more to come. Obviously banter तो चलते ही रहता है. परम इज अ पार्ट टाइम मेंबर. यार बिजी हूँ मतलब वो तो आई थिंक साइकिल्स में सबका चलते ही रहता है.
नहीं परम ये सही बोला यार. तू बहुत कम आ रहा है आजकल. ऐसा कैसा है यार? वी नीड योर ओपिनियंस, वी नीड योर स्पेशली योर रिप्रेजेंटेशन, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड बहुत कुछ हुआ इस टाइम पे. मिलान डर्बी भी था, बहुत सारे गेम्स थे पे वी लॉट ऑफ पीपल.
या ऑफ कोर्स आई मीन बोलो सॉरी बोलो.
नहीं so yeah, good to have you back.
Thanks. अरे नहीं यार, a lot of traveling, so unfortunately could not really join in like and contribute to the reels as well. I saw the that finally Inter posted a reel with all fans in it, so that was good to see. RS is also here, nice to see him. मैं तो कैपुचिनो पीता नहीं है. Maybe after this series you'll start. After this series
अमेरिकानो पीता हूं मैं. ब्लैक कॉफी.
Gasperini ball last season भी same था, good start but last में slowed down. But वही है, देख अभी Vijay, we'll talk about this. In Roma's case, as Ajay bhai said, he's seen this movie before. Like they've had a lot of second place finishes, so you have to wait and see. यार मतलब right now they're doing well, right now they're managing, but you have to assess all this over the course of the season. वो apprentice तो नहीं है, he just appreciates what Arteta does. But we'll talk about Kivu, we'll talk about all that. देखो बॉदर नहीं है. आई मीन ड्रॉप इन क्वालिटी तो है, बट यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू गेट एनीथिंग लाइक द 90s और 80s ऑल दैट अगेन. आई थिंक वी नीड टू let go of that nostalgia thoda. Like I understand all of us love nostalgia in football, all of us love nostalgia when it comes to Calcio, but I think it's in general in football you need to let go of it, because that those days it's just a different cycle, right? At the end of the day, Ajay bhai.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's
just a different era. So I think we need to kind of let go of all these things and try to enjoy what is. But definitely, it's not like, I think Uncle Sharma is in the house. First of all, nice to have you, bro. Like, nice to have you always. And I've watched one of his videos where he's also talked about the general drop in quality with regards to Ajay. If you see the top scorer chart, you have Nico Paz as the top scorer, 5 goals after 13 match days. And I just saw a tweet like 5 minutes ago. After 13 match days, this has never happened in the history of Serie A, that the top scorer has only had 5 goals. And if this is the tweet did their calculations, if this is the rate at which it continues, the top scorer at best at the end of 38 match days will only have 16 goals, nothing more. That is quite low, right? If you look at the past seasons, if you look at what Immobile used to do, if you look at all Osimhen, if you look at Icardi, बहुत low bar hai, if you really think about it. So yeah, I mean, definitely something bothering. There is definitely a drop in quality. Yeah, really, I agree with you there. Uh, no, I mean, जीतता हो तो भी कहा था. Yeah, I'll definitely talk about it because I was not happy. But Ajay, bhai, let's start. We'll come to Roma Napoli थोड़ी देर में briefly. Let's. Where do you want to start here? I'm confused because there's a lot that happened and I'm not sure really where to start. Do you
भाई,
want to?
ये स्ट्रीम तू लीड कर रहा है, तो तू बता तेरे को कहाँ से शुरुआत करना है। हम तो तैयार
Hmm.
बैठे हैं कि हम चर्चा करें। तू बता, where do you want to start?
Let's. This is strange, man. Let's start with. You want to talk about the coaching changes, thoda, because we really did not have time to talk about all the sackings and everything, right? Thoda कौन sack हुआ, कौन hire हुआ. Obviously, you want to start a bit
Fair
on
enough,
that
fair
note
enough.
because
Let's start with
yeah, we start.
Atalanta.
I was
Let's
coming
start
to
with
that.
Atlanta only, man. You know,
Juric,
where else better place to
yeah,
start, man.
yeah, यूरिच गॉन. अजय भाई, मतलब आप यूरिच को अच्छे से जानते हो, फॉर्मर रोमा कोच. एंड यार, मतलब वी स्पोक ऑफ हाउ एटलांटा डिड नॉट बैक हिम इन द मार्केट प्रॉपरली. यस, बट अब मुझे भी यूरिच पे डाउट्स होने लगे कि भाई, एक यूरिच का वो ट्रेंड है ना, जब अजय भाई वो अच्छा खिलाता है, ही ऑलवेज हैव दैट सॉलिडिटी, बट हिज साइड्स विल नेवर स्कोर इनफ गोल्स. इट्स ऑलवेज दैट कॉम्प्रोमाइज.
Yeah,
His solidity never comes with the fact that you can score a goal or two. It'll always be like draws, and that trend repeated. He's fallen off from his Torino and Hellas Verona's days. I think Hellas Verona days. I think that's more than evident now. अब ये clear हो चुका है. My doubts have also been cleared, and he's gone. Palladino has come in. Palladino is the new head coach of Atalanta. I think that's a smart appointment, and they smashed Slavia. They won 3-0 away from home. So क्या thoughts है आपके on Juric's stint before we come to Palladino? What do you think?
like I think the way that modern football, especially in Atalanta's case, I still feel
Hmm.
कि जो गैस्परेनी को 9 साल दिया, यूरिच को 9 महीने भी नहीं दिए. You can't expect, you know, getting getting like a square peg for a round hole. You know, if you know what I'm saying. Juric is a different manager. Gasperini
Hmm.
is a different manager.
Yep.
Yes, there were some glaring errors, but that's, I would say, not entirely Juric's fault. There were
Yeah.
faults of his, no
Hmm.
doubt. But अगर तू rewind करेगा to the transfer market summer window,
Yeah. Yeah.
Juric did not get the players that he wanted. He was
Hmm.
very specific. उसको कौन चाहिए था, कौन नहीं चाहिए था, नहीं मिला. And then you're just trying to kind of like put like a band-aid over a severe wound. Now,
Hmm.
no one was expecting Atlanta to deliver miracles, but the
Hmm.
fall off was happening quite rapidly, which is why I can understand where the uh, you know uh, the board and everyone felt that getting rid of Juric right now would be a pragmatic decision sooner than later. So I would say in this case, again, Juric, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
Taking over Gasparini's legacy after 9 years, they changed their manager. So, it was kind of doomed to fail. I still feel Param, अगर उसको ये साल रखते थे, अगले साल
Hmm.
Atlanta would have been in the mix to be like top half, top five, top six. I think this
Hmm.
year would be like a rebuild, and I can still see that Palladino, a new manager, bounce dega,
Hmm.
but uh, will he get those
Hmm.
successes that Gasperini managed to achieve with Atalanta? I don't think so. Immediately he will get it. Still going to take some time. And then you have players like
Mm,
Lookman who are volatile. I mean, there's so
mm,
many things that's happening. Juric also got the shorthand of a lot of sales. Retegi left, the top scorer left,
mm.
right? They didn't really replace
Exactly.
Retegi
Yeah.
with anyone, with those kind of goals. Ruggeri left
Mm,
for Atletico Madrid. So, and of course,
mm,
aging their own. And Ederson has been, very, I would say, invisible this season. So, बहुत ही issues है. ऐसा नहीं है कि यूरिच के कारण ही Atlanta are where they are right now. But I think, once again, wrong place, wrong time, easy scapegoat.
long time.
And then there goes, अपन cricket बोलते यूरिच की wicket चली गई. And Palladino,
Mm,
I think, is quite a decent manager. I really like him. I actually,
mm,
I was talking to Lex, so I was telling Lex that I would have probably wanted, Palladino instead of Spalletti at Juve, considering long term. But I can understand why Juve went with Spalletti. But I think
mm,
Palladino, being an ex-Juventino, it would have made more sense. And given what he's achieved in coaching as well before this, maybe it could be after the
mm,
Atlanta job that he goes to Juve. But still, I would say a very solid appointment for Atlanta. I
mm,
think he
mm.
will manage to kind of salvage their season a bit and finish in a respectable, place come end of the season.
Yeah, fair. They go very quick. Again, I give my thoughts on Juric, and I agree कि obviously जैसे मैंने Juric को criticize भी किया, I do think he was made the scapegoat yet again because again he joined a club which did not really plan their summer well. If you really think about it, Retegi ka unplanned sale tha, as we all know, that's how it affected the Lukman saga. You see a disinterested Lukman who almost got into a fight with him as well. We saw those scenes on the sidelines, Juric or Lukman ka jhagda. So Atalanta was not really in the best position going into the season in the first place. एंड यूरिच के साथ जो हुआ वो हुआ. पलाडिनो, आई एग्री विथ यू, आई थिंक ही इज अ बेटर फिट. माई ओनली थिंग विथ पलाडिनो में एक चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ कि लोग उसको बहुत इजीली थोड़ा हाइप भी कर लेते. लाइक आई एम नॉट सेइंग इज अ बैड कोच, बट पीपल गेट कैरिड अवे विथ हिज पॉजिटिव इवेल्युएशंस. लाइक जब पलाडिनो सुन के लोग पागल हो जाते हैं, आई डोंट सब्सक्राइब टू दैट. आई थिंक देयर इज अ कोच देयर, आई थिंक देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ पोटेंशियल. बट द वे पीपल टॉक अबाउट हिम, अरे हाँ इसको ऑलरेडी सब पता है. People talk about like how he's mastered his back three and solidity. No, there are flaws in the guy as well. There's a lot, but again, he's a young coach. He's learning. Do I think he's ready for a job like Atalanta? I think yes. But as you said, right? If he would have had he been, would he have been perfect for a UA or a big club? I don't think so. But again, that doesn't really matter because he's coaching Atalanta. Again, I think the man management side of things वो better करेगा यूरिच से because he has handled a lot of tough situations when he was at Monza. He knows how to deal with player sales, key players lose करना कैसे handle करना है, how to make everyone feel important. He likes to create this group as opposed to Juric. So I think he'll be a better fit, but he has a lot of learning to do. So let's see. Time will tell us because this is a very big step. अजय भाई, चाहे आप Atalanta के बारे में जो भी सोचो, generally it is a very big step. You're coaching the Europa League winners suddenly. You were coaching Fiorentina, you left however you left. Now you're coaching the winners of the Europa League. You have to take it's a tough job. So let's see. Cuesta survived. I still can't believe it. This guy has survived. Still, like मेरे को हंसी आ रही है इस चीज पे बहुत because Cuesta.
Actually, he has surprised me quite a lot. I think
Yeah, yeah.
Parma has been, despite a lot of obvious shortcomings, I think Cuesta has done a good job, and I think he's got a bright future. Even if ahead of
See,
Parma, I think
yeah.
he has surpassed my expectation for sure.
अगेन मैं अभी तक कोई इवैल्यूएशन नहीं करना चाहता उस पर बिकॉज आई नो पार्मा का भी मरका तो वही था. साइनिंग टू मेनी यंग प्लेयर्स, वी टॉक्ड अबाउट इट, एंड टू मेनी इंजरीज. सो आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू बी ओवरली क्रिटिकल, बट आई विल गिव हिम क्रेडिट कि हाँ बंदे ने एटलीस्ट डिस्पाइट सो मेनी ऑब्स्टिकल्स ही मैनेज टू क्रिएट दिस आर्टेटा इम्प्रिंट. ही रियली हैज डन दैट. If you see watch Parma play, it's very difficult to break them down. And yeah, kudos to him. They're surviving. They're doing a decent job regardless of so many injuries. If I'm not wrong, Zion Suzuki is also injured right now. He's actually having a decent season. As a big critic of Zion Suzuki, he's also having a good season. So, Siddhan says, Ciao, ciao. Shivam is here. Shivam, nice to have you as always. Please do leave your comments. Please do let us know what are your thoughts on some of the things. इस पे मैं बहुत थोड़ी देर पे आता हूँ तेरे कमेंट पे. Why am I not being able to highlight this? Yeah. I'll come to this. I've started this because it's a point of discussion. I'll come to that. Phantom, nice to have you. Shivam says Spain and Italy both trying to steal Matteo Pellegrini of Parma from Argentina as the striker option. Italy will always try to take someone because Italy का भी imprint बन गया striker चाहिए, but I don't really think Italy need him to be honest. But Ajay, just two more coaching changes quickly I want to talk about before we move on. Patrick Vieira gone. I think that was deserved. Second season syndrome. I mean, again, can't really blame him entirely because Genoa is under financial restrictions. But ये Patrick Vieira का theme बन चुका है यार. Like, he's not a good coach. He's come on. He's just average. I think you'll agree with me. Any 2 cents on that? I'm not really surprised he's gone.
I'm just happy that they got a man to replace him, Daniele De Rossi. I
De
really hope that
Rossi.
he can manage to keep Genoa in Serie A, and then we'll take it from there. Very entertaining football. I've followed both of Genoa's games after De Rossi has been appointed.
Hmm.
Very, I would say, modern coach.
Yeah.
Bodean bata raha tha modern coaches. De Rossi is definitely a modern coach. You can see that in the style of his play. It's more vertical. It's more man to man. It's more direct. So you will see a lot of goals scored and a lot of goals conceded. For example, Ostigard, that the centre back, has been in great form. That's because
Yeah.
he's been making those darting runs into the box. As a free centre back moving into space, attacking the space, and now coming with goals also. So very very exciting coach De Rossi, obviously, but at Genoa, is it the right place for him to go? Hey, there was no other opportunity, honestly. और कोई भी opportunity था, दूसरा फ्योरेंटीना ही था जहाँ पे वनोली आया. Once again, Param, I know that you're a big fan of Vanoli. I feel, I agree with you. He's a solid coach as well, modern coach. He's got some great ideas, and very refreshing to see that Fiorentina have gone with him. अभी तक रिजल्ट्स आए नहीं फ्योरेंटीना के. जेनोवा के 2 ड्रॉज आ चुके, बट
Yeah.
फ्योरेंटीना हैव बीन अ लिटिल इफी इन द लीग. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, परम, आई स्टिल फील दैट डेरोसी डेरोसी का थोड़ा 50-50 है, बट Vanoli should be able to keep Fiorentina up, that is for sure. And then next season would be his real test. How he grows and takes this Fiorentina team ahead from where Italiano left them, to be very honest, because the Pioli experiment really didn't work out all that
Yeah.
well. And
Yeah.
it's been a downward season for La Viola. But yeah, I mean, Baudelaire ne bola ki young coaches, I would say Italiano is still youngish. Then of
Hmm.
course you have Palladino, you have De Rossi, you have Vanoli. Again, Vanoli is not that young, but I would say youngish. And I personally like Alberto Gilardino at Pisa. I feel that
Hmm.
Gilardino also has got the makings of a decent Italian, solid Italian coach.
Hmm. See, I'll say Patrick Vieira का जो था वो था Balotelli was celebrating his sacking. Like he said, it was justice finally. Balotelli was very happy with Patrick Vieira signing, and I knew Genoa was lying when they tried to convince us that वो दोनों का relationship fix हो गया है. I knew Genoa was lying to us, but yeah, Balotelli बहुत खुश था, and Patrick. It's not really surprising. देखो, he tried to do best with the squad he had. This Genoa का अगर आप स्क्वाड देखो है लिमिटेड. इट्स नॉट ग्रेट बिकॉज दे हैव ट्रांसफर रिस्ट्रिक्शंस इन द सेंस दैट दे आर ट्राइंग टू गेट देयर फाइनेंसेस सॉर्टेड. सो डेरोसी का भी कितना फुटबॉल सस्टेनेबल होगा, कितनी देर चलेगा, इट रिमेन्स टू बी सीन. एज यू सेड, इज इट द राइट क्लब फॉर हिम? इट्स टफ बिकॉज जैसे आपने बोला ज्यादा जॉब्स अवेलेबल थे नहीं एक. बट I'm interested to see where this goes only because I feel De Rossi had to take a step back. I feel what he did with Roma was good. Of course, it was headed in a good direction, and I feel he can kind of grow with Genoa provided they just back him decent to a decent extent. Coming
बट
to
वो नहीं होने
Vanoli,
वाला, पर वो होने नहीं वाला है तो.
yeah, I mean, at least give your academy players a chance more. You do have some decent academy players there, like maybe someone like an Ahanor and Mazzini continue to benefit under him. Patrizio Mazzini करके उनका एक midfielder है, academy से आया, बहुत अच्छा player है. I mean, talent wise. So I think the way overall for Genoa is to take a step back. is a फालतू के signings बंद करो जहाँ तुम बालोटेली लाते हो PR के लिए. It doesn't make really sense. Take a step back, take a risk. Because Geno honestly ये सब experiment last 3 साल से कर रहा है अजय, by bringing back all these washed players. With all due respect, Pinamonti, all this doesn't work, right? So let's see. Fiorentina very quickly, Stefano Pioli ने उनका record तोड़ दिया. He gave them the worst ever start in their history, and I mean kudos to him for doing that. What else can I say? And yeah, I mean जैसे आपने बात की over the last weeks, right? जब कि the players look disinterested, the project seems confusing. Prade got sacked before that, which I think was definitely coming because उसने बहुत errors किए हैं. Camiso will never take responsibility जो उनका owner है. And market was अजब, अपने को बाहर से obviously लगा अच्छा था. but the players never really bought in. Like, I don't understand how this Albert Goodmanson signing has been a flop for the last 2 years. He's done really nothing. You remember the hype around him where everybody wanted him. Moise Keane, he's the only one really trying apart from David De Gea. But what are the others doing? And then not just the players, coach अपने ideas नहीं translate कर पा रहा था. And finally now we have Paolo Vanoli जो कॉन्टे का डिसाइपल है, जो कॉन्टे के साथ काम कर चुका है बहुत टाइम में, इंटर में उसका असिस्टेंट था. ही इज गोइंग टू ट्राई एंड फायर देम अप द कॉन्टे वे. ऑब्वियसली ही इज गोइंग टू काइंड ऑफ ट्राई टू गेट देम टू प्ले दिस मोर बैलेंस्ड गेम, बिकॉज पियोली की भी एक गलती थी अजय भाई, अगर आप टैक्टिकली देखो, he would try to get Fiorentina play this aggressive game, which is not really suited to them. It's not, because it is total opposite of what Palladino was trying to do. Palladino ने वो Italiano का mindset बदल दिया था, then he got them balanced, and now suddenly Pioli was trying to become all this fancy with his game, which was not really working. And I think Ajay, the biggest elephant in the room when it comes to Fiorentina, that stadium. आई मीन वो कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट है, बन गया है वो, लाइक जो अपने को रास्ते पे दिखता है अपन जब मेट्रो क्रॉस करते हैं, उससे भी बदतर है.
ये फ्योरेंटीना का जो रेनोवेशन है कि एमएमआरडीए बीएमसी कर रहे हैं क्या, इतना समय
वही
लगा
वही
रहे
वही
करने के लिए
वही वही वही
भाई
बीएमसी
साहब.
का. या एग्जैक्टली, मतलब कुछ बिकॉज वो प्रोजेक्ट का मेस है. इट वाज अपेरेंटली सपोज टू फिनिश इन 2026 हाफवे. नाउ देयर सेइंग 2029 में खत्म होगा. मतलब इतनी डिस्क्रिपेंसी कहाँ आ सकती है? एक साल का डिस्क्रिपेंसी आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड, 3 years, 3 and half of it is broken. You have fans only on one section. Like, what are they doing? So that plays a role. You have half the fans in the stadium, and we know Frankie is a very raucous, very fiery stadium, right? The fans are passionate. What have they done to it? So terrible. But moving on, Ajay, I think we've talked enough about the managerial changes. I think let's come to Roma Napoli before we close with other things. क्या बोलते हो? Big weekend. Obviously, we have a lot of games, but we have this top of the table kind of clash with Roma still managing to be top, Napoli fighting their way back despite losses, despite some struggles in the Champions League. क्या feeling है first आपकी as a Roma fan going into the game?
यार, Napoli are here because of one man, which is their keeper, Vanya Milinkovic-Savic. If he wasn't so clutch for them saving penalties, literally, हम लोग गोल्स सेलिब्रेट करते हैं स्ट्राइकर्स का. अभी तो बता रहा था कि सेरिया में सिर्फ 5 गोल हुए हैं. अगर किसी ने समझो अभी रहते कि जैसा कोई सीजन किसी ने अगर ये सीजन किया रहेगा, लाइक द स्टार्ट ऑफ द सीजन, we would have been praising him. But Vanya Milinkovic-Savic doesn't get enough praise, especially considering the fact that both against Como and against who did they play, जिसके साथ उन्होंने ड्रॉ किया, दो उनका जो लास्ट 2 फिक्सचर था जो भी था कोमो के पहले, both those games Milinkovic-Savic was clutch, and he ensured that Napoli at least get a point and not 0 points, which is why they are here. They are, of course, they are the team to beat. They are the reigning champions of Italy. So Conte, after the international break, looks like a man reborn, right? पर हम इंटरनेशनल ब्रेक के पहले बहुत सारे बातें हो रहे थे कि भाई कॉन्टे, डी लॉरेंटेस, नोआ लैंग, मतलब सब कुछ वही, सबको लगा कि मेल्टडाउन आने वाला है, बट वो नहीं हुआ. एंड कॉन्टे हैज चेंज्ड हिज अप्रोच. यू सी ही went for a back 4. He's been a little malleable when it comes to the likes of Noah Lang, the likes of now he has to cope up with that midfield without Frank Anguissa and De Bruyne. So even he is kind of showing signs that he is evolving as a tactician, which is a dangerous sign for other teams, because typically Conte would have an epic implosion at this point of time, but वो नहीं हुआ अभी तक. So Napoli, like I said, still the team to beat. Are they my favorite source? I don't know, but again, this is a local regional derby. Almost, in terms of geography, these are the only 2 clubs from the south who have been successful at Italian and at a European level compared to the other southern clubs that's out there. There is a huge gulf between north and the south. So Roma Napoli ka jo matchup hai is known as Derby della Sud, Derby of the South, or Derby della Sole, Derby of the Sun, typically because the southern part of Italy receives more sunshine than the northern part. So there is animosity, there is rivalry. This time around, a lot of things are at stake because Roma will try to hold on to that top place in Serie A. Napoli would want to take it from us. So it's going to be a mouth-watering clash because Gasperini versus Conte. And Roma Napoli games typically have a lot of incidents. बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे incidents से कोई एक बड़ा spark हो सकता है. तो looking forward, Param. I mean, as a fan, थोड़ी फटी पड़ी है because Napoli are a dangerous team to play at this point of time. उनका एक mini resurgence हो रहा है अभी, पर अब तो दिख रहा है कि they're coming back into their groove. Roma, on the other hand, I would say looking solid defensively, but derby, it is a local regional derby. You can't really have any odds on that. So it's going to be a fiery and a tasty matchup.
अग्रीड अग्रीड आई मीन देखो नापोली के एंड से अगर बात करें तो ऑब्वियसली देयर वर टॉक्स ऑफ कॉन्टे काइंड ऑफ पॉन्डरिंग हिज फ्यूचर ये वो ऑब्वियसली फॉर नाउ एवरीथिंग हैज बीन सॉर्टेड बट इट्स अ सिचुएशन जो आपको देखना पड़ता है बिकॉज द रियलिटी ऑफ the situation is that he did kind of disappear. He went and he came back like late into the international break, all that drama obviously usually he does. But obviously ever since then he's beaten Atalanta, 3-1. अगर उधर भी अच्छा performance था obviously again beating an Atalanta side that is figuring themselves out is something as one thing you consider, but at the end of the day you play what's in front of you. They did beat Atalanta and generally they're still in the fight. मतलब it's been on and off with Napoli कि it's इट्स लाइक अगर आप सोचो रियली उसके बारे में थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग है बिकॉज अगर आप कॉन्टे के वर्ड्स भी देखो व्हाट ही सेड आफ्टर बिफोर दैट इंटरनेशनल ब्रेक वेयर दे वर लूजिंग राइट he it seemed like he had given up मतलब almost it felt like a defeatist version of Conte जो यूजुअली अपने को कभी देखने को नहीं मिलता जब कॉन्टे बाहर जाता है he goes out with a bang he goes out like in an irritated mode कि हाँ मैं ये हूँ दूसरे लोग पागल है मैं अच्छा हूँ मैं बेटर हूँ ये वो but it felt like he had nothing to say. He had not much to. He didn't have much to express. He looked like he was done. मैं मेरे को पता नहीं क्या करना है. But obviously he's figured things out temporarily, whatever it is. With Napoli, एक चीज confusing मेरे लिए ये है कि it's like he's gotten all he wanted. He's gotten all these players. ठीक है, I understand injuries हुई है बहुत हुई है नापोली को उधर में थोड़ा उसको I'll cut him some slack like Lukaku, Angisa with constant injuries, Politano, KDB, all these guys getting injured. I understand that, right? But you got what you wanted. A then you crib about that. B then it's like you are considering कि मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ इधर ये वो you look defeated. So I'm with Napoli. My bigger question right now going into this derby, I guess Derby del Sole, as you said, is I'm intrigued to see how they show up against a prepared team like Roma because okay, I saw them against Atalanta, but again I said Atalanta with थोड़े question marks है. Inter के against okay, you can say we are more prepared than Atalanta, but we also have our flaws X Y Z. When they played AC Milan, they lost. So when they played AC Milan, they struggled obviously. So Roma is a against Gasperini. It's really an interesting one because you're going up against a side which has much more clarity in what they want to do. For me, Napoli tactically कॉन्टे फिगर आउट कर लेता है लाइक अगर जैसे आपने ट्विक्स के बारे में बोला ना 3 at the back जाओ 4 at the back जाओ he figures that out. But for me there are these moments this season he's not been able to manage in the game. जैसे अभिजय ने भी फॉर एग्जांपल बोला है कमेंट्स में कि he's not hoping for injuries and all, but like he's talking about how KDB getting injured has indirectly kind of allowed McTominay to play in his natural
Yeah.
role. I mean, yeah, obviously I understand he's not wishing injuries on anyone, but that is a point, right? कि McTominay वापस आ गया. So my question marks for Napoli है कि like is this all planned? Is this like Conte मतलब is he just winging things जैसे जैसे हो रहा है or is this like is he really well prepared? That's my question. And if you remember Ajay when the season began in the initial few games the way they won it looked like they were the most prepared side like एकदम perfect एकदम dominant game खेल रहे थे सासुओलो को हराया इतने easily champions of Serie A भी but ever since that UCL hit it's gone all ऊपर नीचे so मेरे लिए my point of all this jargon I'm using is I need to थोड़ा understand this Napoli की किस वर्जन की कौन सा वर्जन शो अप करने वाला है because champions of Italy मैं बोलता हूँ इनको मेंटल दिया है हमने they are the champions of Italy right and you can say they are the best team in Italy arguably right now
Yeah.
At least for me, they are. So how is it they're struggling to kind of show up week in week out with that same energy? And I'm not talking about like energy in terms of energy being used on the pitch, like this desire and grit more. Like how is that possible? I'm shocked because this is not what I see from a Conte team. Like I expect Conte teams to be on it always, and either thoda wo confusion दिखता है, and that's why for me I said this Roma have much more clarity going in this game. Whether or not that shows on the pitch is a different story. Going into this for me, Roma seem a bit more of in an advantage, especially you guys are playing at home. So yeah, that was it. This is me talking about the vibe I get from Napoli. I'm not a Napoli fan at the end of the day. Objectively, this was my assessment. But let's get into the predicted lineups. अजय भाई एक बार पहले before we dive into tactics, मैं कमेंट्स पे आता हूँ guys. We appreciate all the comments you're sending. आप और भी लाते रहो. मैं आता हूँ quickly comments पे. Let me just show the predicted lineups. But let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comments. What do you guys think about the your feeling of how, let's say, Roma and Napoli individually are shaping up headed into this derby? Just one sec. Yeah, is this visible, Ajay bhai?
Yep.
या सो अगर प्रेडिक्टेड लाइनर्स में अगेन मैं गजेटा यूज करता हूँ बिकॉज वो लोग थोड़ा जल्दी पोस्ट करते हैं, बट ऑब्वियसली इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू बी 100% एक्यूरेट. अजय भाई रोमा साइड ऑफ थिंग्स से आप देखो मिलेस विलार एर्मोसो मंचिनी आइनावी वेस्ली चेलिक सुले डिबाला पेलेग्रिनी आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू स्टार्ट. व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज दिस गोइंग टू बी द 11 एज अ रोमानी की कुछ
I
और
think एक ही slight change रहेगा और Moso is still not 100% fit.
या
I think
या
it's going to be थोड़ा सा a toss up who's going to play in that right center back. I think Daniele Gilardi had a good game last night, but will Gasperini throw him directly into the mix? I'm not so sure. Manu Kone had a slight knock,
या
but Gasperini said it's not serious. But again, will he start from the bench or will he start immediately? तो वो एक बार देखना पड़ेगा. Yeah. So yeah, Bailey is back. I know he scored a fantastic goal yesterday, Param. If you saw that goal, it was a
या
great goal
या
and overall had a very good game. He was running non-stop and even to the 90th minute he had that lung capacity to kind of bomb up and down the pitch. So he's slowly now getting used to the gas parade. And of course, Ferguson is also back. He also has broken his duck from duck of the season in the last game. So positive ही है, Param. I think the front line is going to be what it is with Dybala playing in that false nine role with Sole and Lorenzo Pellegrini playing off him. I think this is pretty much what's expected. I could see Manu Kone coming in. You never know what could happen, and maybe Gilardi. Gilardi or Ziolkowski, one of the two starting instead of Hermoso because Hermoso is abhi tak, not 100% fit. Otherwise, pretty much standard Gasperini tactics.
या फेयर 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 मतलब जैसे अजय भाई ने बोला ऑब्वियसली हरमोस अब पूरा फिट नहीं है. लियोन बेली इंजर हुआ था फिर से. आई मीन ही इज बैक, बट दैट्स अ सिचुएशन यू कीप एन आई ऑन बिकॉज ही इज डेफिनेटली अ बिट इंजरी प्रोन. I also expect kind of Gilardi to start only because he had that kind of decent game, but then it all depends on Gasperini. हम जानते हैं Gasperini unpredictable होता है. Obviously, Manu Kone का knock था, but yeah, that's why I don't think they'll risk him either. And I think Ferguson, I don't think Evan Ferguson, I know there is a balotaggio, as they say, between Ferguson and Pellegrini, but I think Pellegrini will start there. And obviously Angelino injured है, Dovbyk भी unavailable है, तो वो दो absentees है रोमा के लिए. बाकी रोमा साइड ऑफ थिंग से अगर आप फिर से देखो लेफ्ट पे यही प्रेडिक्टेड लाइनअप है. अगर आपको दिख रहा है स्वीलार, ऑब्वियसली ट्रांसलेशन एरर राइट. एर्बोसो एंडिका मंचिनी एलाइनावी चेलिक क्रिस्टांटे वेस्ली पेलेग्रिनी सूले और डिबाला. बट अगर हम नापोली पे आए अजय भाई, ऑन द फ्लिप साइड ऑफ थिंग्स, स्पिनज़ोला रिस्क्स मिसिंग द गेम एज वेल. गुटियरेस का भी एंकल स्प्रेन्ड है. हॉयलैंड ऑब्वियसली lineup में वापस आएगा because Lukaku is also unavailable. By the way, Lukaku is finally expected to return to the lineup or at least to the Napoli squad next match day से, जैसे इधर दिया है. De Bruyne obviously और एक महीना प्लस तो आउट ही है. गिलमोर का भी इवैल्यूएशन चल रहा है. अंगीसा इज आउट फॉर अ वाइल. मिगेल गुटियरेस का जैसे मैंने बोला इवैल्यूएशन चल रहा है. कैन ही प्ले, कैन ही नॉट प्ले. बट बेंच में बिफोर आई कम टू द लाइनअप, नापोली का निकिता कॉन्टिनी, Juan Jesus, Mazzocchi, Marianucci, Spinazzola again could start, may or may not start. एम्ब्रोसिनो, एल्मास, पोलिटानो, लुका. बट अगर अजय भाई वो क्विकली बेंच देखो और आप लोग कमेंट्स में भी देखो, if you guys want to give your thoughts, that bench is looking very weak if you really think about it. If that Napoli bench, Ajay bhai, if you really think about it, this is not the bench. Obviously, Conte would really field an Ambrosino or a Vergara. And again, these are okay talents, these are decent talents, but he would not really field them. And you Elmas के अलावा and Politano के अलावा really अगर आप think सोचो वैसे कोई डिफरेंस मेकर है नहीं. अगर आप आई मीन स्पिनोज़ोला है बट ही इज नॉट 100%, राइट. सो दैट इज समथिंग रोमा कैन लुक एट एंड से अरे भाई देखो, we need to kind of be calculated, play our game the right way, and think about the fact that Napoli don't really have a bench to use right now in a way, and they played midweek in the champ. Obviously, y'all also played, but Napoli also had a draining game. I watched that, so it's an interesting situation to keep an eye on. अगर lineup की बात करें, वानिया इन गोल ऑब्वियसली नो डाउट देयर, बुंजॉर्नो खेलेगा, रकमानी, बॉयकेमा, थ्री एट द बैक में. डी लोरेंजो है विंग बैक, obviously not his ideal role. Ajay bhai, we've seen Di Lorenzo do a bad job as a right wing back. Lobotka hai, McTominay hai, Matias Oliveira, Noah Lang, and Neres kind of in that drifter role behind Hoyland. So that is, I feel, definitely something, because Ajay bhai, I've seen Roma being vulnerable on the transition, in the defensive transition. So that is something you all need to be worried about, because
And that's how Napoli plays so well on the defensive side.
yeah,
Especially McTominay will find that space and he'll make you pay.
exactly. And also just one thing, like Noah Lang and Neres, while they've not been consistent, but वो problems capable create करने के लिए capability है उनमें. They have done it against
For sure.
Neres,
For sure.
Neres did it. Neres did it against Inter. Noah Lang did it in the Champions League once. So it's a capability. It's something Roma need to keep an eye on. और जैसे अजय भाई ने बोला, McTominay back in his favorable role, you have to keep an eye. Ajay bhai, how do you see the tactical? How do you see this panning out as a tactic on a tactical note? क्या लगता है? कैसे खेला जाएगा गेम? क्या लगता है आपको दोनों साइड से?
See, I think their wide men will be a problem. I think Conte will tell them to attack the wide areas quite aggressively, and he would love a battle with say in transition, like you mentioned, if Noah Lang is one on one with the Mancini, or on the other side, if Neres gets past Wesley, with all due respect, he's excellent going forward, but
Yeah,
defensively still got to learn because Serie A, matlab, is 100 notches above the Brazilian league. Even in Europe, you saw that he was a little weak physically, and he's got pace to recover, but then that's not good enough. After one point, you need to be tactically intelligent also to kind of like ensure that you don't foul or get beat in those areas. So wide areas, mein, Param, I'm expecting both Noah Lang and David Neres to be a threat for Roma. I feel that Dybala needs to be very decisive in the game because if he's playing false nine, he likes to receive the ball quite deep in the half. But वो अभी तक Dybala अभी कल के game में he's come back after an injury layoff, so he wasn't looking very sharp. Sole, even Lorenzo Pellegrini looked quite sharp because they've been playing consistently and they've been very very decisive in those areas. So I feel Roma KDA they need to take chances. But that's been a major issue. Roma miss a lot of chances, and that has come back to bite us quite a bit this season. So especially at home. So I feel कि यहाँ पे Roma need to be a little more decisive, incisive when it comes to finishing, which is why I still feel that an Evan Ferguson should be a starter because वो focal point आता है तो I think overall Roma do play better. अभी क्या हो रहा है कि अभी कल का भी अगर तूने पहला गोल देखा रहेगा एलाइनोई का, it was a low cross from Zeki Celik. Like the cross was literally between the midriff and the foot, which is why Elinoi could credit to him, he kind of positioned in a way where he could volley it off. But because there is no focal point, Param, there are no crosses coming into the box. You are not troubling this Napoli backline if you're not playing that game. You need to kind of be aggressive and get into Napoli's faces to kind of थोड़ा सा उनको डराने के लिए कि भाई this is what we can do. अगर वो नहीं होता है, that works to Napoli's advantage. So I expect this to be a brilliant game. I think it's going to be थोड़ा end to end हो जाएगा after a while. एंटरटेनमेंट गारंटीड है अभी. Who will come out as a winner? That's a question जिसका आंसर हमें मिलेगा संडे नाइट को.
Hmm. Fair, fair, fair. I think mostly मैं आपके assessment से agree करता हूँ. What is this glitch? Are you seeing that glitch? By the way, but
100
100, yeah, that has to be a glitch.
बॉट रहेगा
Yeah, yeah.
ये तो
But
बॉट रहेगा.
bot, yeah, but नहीं नहीं. Coming to my point, uh,
सौ तो नहीं होगा भाई, ये तो मैं.
so this is, by the way, I don't know अगर आप ये chat पे ये notice कर रहे हो, हमें suddenly double digit viewers से 100 दिखा रहा है. So this has to be something. This is funny. But coming back to my point, मैं mostly आपके assessment से agree करता हूँ. What is this? I can't stop laughing. I can't stop. I'm sorry. I'm too
बॉट अटैक हुआ है
distracted.
यार. This is not good. Bot
This is
attack
not good.
isn't that great. Yeah,
This
yeah.
is not good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. By how? What can we even do against this? Do you know? Like, what can we do? What can we do against this?
We need Yogesh.
Yogesh.
This could be Yogesh. ना मैंने
ये
नापोली का
योगेश
बोला.
ने, ये हाँ, ये नापोली का बोला, ये योगेश ने किया होगा हैक घर बैठे. स्ट्रीम पे तो आ नहीं रहा है भाई. ये घर बैठे हैक कर रहा है. दिस इज हिलेरियस भाई. बट
185.
let me try to get him online. But as I give my Napoli assessment, because I'm sure this is something he has done. But मैं क्या बोलना चाहता हूँ, see, from the Napoli side of things, I agree with you how Roma would shape up. I think that Wesley side, right, as you said, bro, this is getting bad, by the way. I think Wesley will give Matias Oliveira a tough time, because Matias Oliveira से नहीं हमने errors देखे, which is, I'm actually shocked, because Matias Oliveira defensively solid होता है generally, and
But Param, he will not play in that side. He will play on the other side. Zeki Chalik will play in that side.
oh
Oliveira.
yeah, correct. My bad. I got it wrong. My bad. Correct. So yeah, my bad. Apologies for that. So yeah, but still, my point is, I feel the Wesley side of things, right? Um, as you said, defensively वो बहुत थोड़ा है उसमें moments where he just cannot keep up. And I feel Napoli there, because with their drifting attackers, I feel they'll try to overload that side, because as much as Wesley does, as much as he works hard, there is a problem there. There is a problem when it's the defensive side of things. And as you said, with Roma, it's that defensive transition. It is a weak point. We saw it in most of the games this season. And for me, you guys have to be watchful of that link between McTominay, नोआ लैंग एंड नेरेस. अगेन मैं ये एकदम से सडनली नहीं बोलना चाहता वो नोआ लैंग एकदम से अच्छा प्लेयर बन गया, डेविड नेरेस में एकदम. बट वो लोग के वो मोमेंट्स रहे इस सीजन वेयर दे रैंडमली क्लिक्ड इवन व्हेन यू डोंट एक्सपेक्ट देम टू. एंड नाउ दैट मैकटोमिने इज इन हिज नेचुरल रोल, now that Hoyland is kind of consistently doing a decent job, I can imagine these guys clicking off Hoyland doing a decent job. And for me, that is Roma's biggest threat, because again, Roma kind of do struggle to hold off these reference point players type in a way, and we've seen it time and again. So for me, Roma need to be wary of that. Without Manu Kone, I think Napoli का edge है midfield battle में. As much as I like Neil Ainawi, but वो settle हो रहा है अभी भी रोमा के 11 में. That will take time. And honestly, up top, अपने को अभी भी देखना है कि वो डिबाला experiment इस time. It's not an experiment. I understand this time it's not an experiment. Your Dovbek is injured, but we've seen it, Ajay bhai. Dybala जब भी ऊपर start किया है वो false nine role में, it has not worked, right? And we have to see now if Napoli can kind of will Napoli also be that team that will basically manage to do the same thing like everyone else did, right? Like whenever Dybala played, you all didn't do well and you all actually lost those games, if I'm not wrong. So I feel the main area here is your attack versus defense more than the midfield battle. And अगर मेरे को ये गेम का आई थिंक प्रिडिक्शन ले ही लेते हैं एज वी गिव द अदर गेम्स का. आई मुझे लग रहा है ये ड्रॉ हो रहा है. अजय भाई, आपका क्या प्रेडिक्शन होगा?
I feel that Param, I don't know how to say it, but the Roma fan in me will kill me. But I feel that Napoli can come away with 3 points. I feel that Napoli can win this game.
वाओ, 3 पॉइंट प्रेडिक्ट किया अजय भाई ने नापोली के लिए, which is actually मुझे भी वो
दुख दर्द पीड़ा से बोल रहा हूँ मैं, इसलिए
पॉसिबल तो है. आप लोग भी कमेंट्स में दो टीम नेम के साथ. रोमा नापोली क्या स्कोर लाइन है? रोमा इज द होम टीम. मैंने अगर आप देखो तो मैंने योगेश को फोन लगाया जस्ट टू see if he's doing this bot attack because 523 viewers तो possible. हेलो योगेश, just hold on. कैसा है ठीक है ना? अच्छा मुझे एक बता, हम लोग स्ट्रीम पे बैठे हैं, ठीक है, हम लोग रोमा नापोली प्रीव्यू कर रहे हैं, तूने क्या हैक किया है भाई, मुझे बता, क्या इधर बॉट अटैक करा है तूने?
लाउड स्पीकर में डाल, लाउड स्पीकर में।
क्या?
हेलो।
हाँ बोल।
मैं बाहर आया हूं यार।
बाहर आए भाई, इधर ना अचानक से बॉट अटैक हुआ है अपने स्ट्रीम पे। 15 व्यूअर्स थे, अभी 529 व्यूअर्स दिखा रहा है। ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, ये तूने ही किया है भाई। एक नापोली का सेगमेंट चालू हुआ वैसे ही ट्रिपल हो गए नंबर्स। क्या किया बता मुझे। हेलो देख ये जानबूझ के हो रहा है भाई। आवाज आवाज आ रही है योगेश? देख, हेलो, बाद में करता हूं मैं तुझे। सी this was very convenient. The moment I said he's done it, he could not hear me.
But
So yeah,
but if Roma win, if they manage to win Monday morning, I'm going to make a reel and tag Yogesh.
done deal. क्या नापोली फैन कोपोली में, बट नहीं, let me अजय, I think we have
ये अभिजय दिल्ली में रह के इतना कैसा उसको नॉलेज है मुंबई एंड नियर बाय एरियाज का।
हाँ, ये तो देखते हैं। आई थिंक he might love Mumbai after all. Let me quickly take some comments, Ajay, then we'll close with the last two sections. Where did we stop? We stopped here. Quickly मैं ले लेता हूँ because audience ने बहुत सारी चीजें पूछी है। जो 521 लोग देख रहे हैं भाई, वो लोग सब कमेंट कर लो, बट 521 लोग देख रहे हैं तो प्लीज लाइक भी कर लो यार। बट सॉरी, यान सॉमर, यस यार, वो रिग्रेस होना चालू हो गया। आई थिंक अजय भाई, यू हैव आल्सो नोटिस्ड इट। I'm sorry, he's just done. Like वो जो भी कर रहा है वो मिलान डर्बी में उसने जो किया, it is the same mistake against Atletico Madrid. तब उस पे गोल नहीं हुआ luckily, but he's done. He's regressing. Inter need a new goalkeeper. I mean, whether it's Josep Martinez, whether I don't know what is going to happen next summer, but yeah, Inter need a new goalkeeper. Yeah, that's all I can say. Arteta School of Management is just getting started. Sack that Paolo Zanetti fraud. देखो भाई अजय भाई, यही Paolo Zanetti को अकेला हाइप कर रहा था now funnily enough Hellas are last in the table. That is exactly what I wanted to see. मजा आ रहा है बहुत. Lorenzo, Luka and Krstovic have been the biggest duds. Luka is Alexander Isak of Serie A, so much attitude and hype. Deख Bodhan, if you remember, Ajay, if you remember this, I had said this about Krstovic. Do not go by what he did at Lecce. With all due respect, I think he's a decent player, but वो बहुत weird chances miss करता है. वो बहुत weird moments में involved रहता है. He, for a striker, Ajay, if you go back and see how many red cards he's got in his career, it's very weird. How many times he's lost possession leading to an opponent scoring. He almost is a he almost is like that ऐसा है ना, ऐसा वो बंदा है कि इट्स लाइक वो बच्चा था तभी डिफेंडर था और बाद में स्ट्राइकर बन गया, ऐसा टाइप का. Like, he's a very weird player. Like, I'm not surprised that
Yeah.
Lorenzo Luca for me has to be flop signing of the season because it's 30 plus million. Do you agree with that? Yeah, 35 million. Absolutely does nothing on the pitch. I'm sorry. Okay, ठीक है, उसको टाइम देना चाहिए, but अजय भाई वो कुछ कर, like if you watch him right, he cannot control the ball. He cannot contribute in any phase of play. Absolutely nothing. Just
तू
nothing.
ऐसा मत बोल, वो साला रोमा के गोल मारेगा।
देखो, as long as it leads to a draw, I don't mind if he scores. But yeah, I understand. I know that's why you're not saying anything because साला bench से आके मार दिया एक header. But honestly, yeah, like he's been, for me, he's the flop of the season. Like, come on, 35 million and this. Param bhai, what do you think about the obsession of our management? Kivu to sign Giovanni, by the way, the Hellas Verona striker, rather than focusing on rejuvenating goalkeeper defense. देख, इसको मैं obsession नहीं बोलूंगा. They want a player, Lookman type player. Giovanni fits the bill. They still want a goalkeeper. Goalkeeper एकदम जान में नहीं लेने वाले. वो goalkeeper summer में चाहिए. Caprile, Artobolu, these guys are the targets. Defender, yes, defender is needed in January, but they won't sign. That's all I can say, right? Unfortunately, वो नहीं होने वाला है. With Palladino at the helm, no यार, Ajay, I don't think this is like, he's done with Atalanta. It's not about the coach. He's done with Atalanta.
He's done with the club.
Yeah, and there are links of Galatasaray wanting him, by the way. So we could see a
Osimhen, Lookman together.
Osimhen, Lookman, भाई मजा आएगा, right? दो, एक नापोली से bitter terms पे गया, एक Atalanta से bitter. Yeah, exactly. Don't wish हाँ, sorry, ये ले लिया मैंने. Lennart Karl, Uedrago, Max Dom, and so many young players are coming through in the leagues. Why don't Serie A coaches opportunities? देखिए, है इटली में अभी ये थोड़ा ज्यादा हो रहा है, with all due respect. with all due respect, Italy also has talent. If you see, Italy did a decent job at the recent Under 17 World Cup as well. It's just that Italy does not
Yeah,
do the system does not help them. That's the problem, not the players themselves.
yeah.
Pellegrini MVP season, the world is not Lorenzo Pellegrini. Wow, I'm not replying to that. Uh, Yeah, I mean, come on. I'm not following. Napoli look great with that system. आज रात है by the way. Predictions लेंगे हम लोग quickly. Como versus Sassuolo है. We took this. Um,
So we
uh,
can move on to the next one,
yeah,
Param. Let's talk about your club, Inter, and
definitely.
the allegations that Abhijay has been putting on you. कि भाई इंटर का बुरा समय चल रहा तो परम गायब है. What's been happening at Inter, man? I mean, I know कि काफी कुछ चर्चा हुआ था about not turning up in big
Yeah,
matches, mentality issue. Like you mentioned, Jan Sommer as well. There are calls for his head,
yeah.
and just overall, I think after a very solid start from Kivu, inheriting that team from Simone Inzaghi. अब एक थोड़ा सा फर्स्ट एक क्रॉसरोड आया है. So what is the mood around the Inter camp at this point of time?
It's I think जो मैंने प्री सीजन में बात किया था, राइट, वी हैव टू कीप आवर एक्सपेक्टेशंस थोड़ा नीचे, थोड़ा कम एज कंपैरिजन टू द सिमोने इंजागी ईयर्स, राइट, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू हैव अ कोच जो जब आया था, जब साइन किया ऑफिशियली उसने डॉटेड लाइन पे, तब उसके एक्सपीरियंस में थे 13 गेम्स. लेट मी रिमाइंड दिस 1-3, नॉट 3-0, 1-3. नाउ इट हैज गॉट टू 25 प्लस ऑब्वियसली. And I'm not blaming him per se. There are a lot of other factors, but यार अब 5+ साल से वही ब्रांड ऑफ फुटबॉल खेल रहा. अगेन, आई एम नॉट ब्लेमिंग दिस what we do because we are good at what we do, whatever it is. At some point opponents will start figuring you out, अजय भाई. ये obvious हो जाता है. अगर आप देखो लास्ट दो गेम्स, the way Atletico Madrid played, the way AC Milan beat us, क्या था? Both teams, what did they choose largely? To soak the pressure, to show enough grit, hit us on the break and score. If you really watch these two games, and if you go back watch all our losses this season so far, हमने draw एक भी game नहीं किया by the way. So far we've only lost or won, funnily enough. So if you watch these losses, what the blueprint is the same. You sit back against Inter, you soak the pressure, you hit them, and they'll, because you know Inter's defense is slow, you know it is aged because for some reason Beppe Marotta and the management decided we are good as we are, let's not sign a defender. जो मैं arrogance की बात कर रहा था, this arrogance within the management. You chose to sign Akanji as a replacement for Pavard. ठीक है, Pavard को जाने दिया. You still had to sign one more defender. You did not do your job. So A, flaws of the management. B, coming to the players themselves. Lautaro Martinez completely out of form. देखो मतलब he's just out of it. He's tired. ए ठीक है, पर बार बार मैं वो टायर्ड का रीजन नहीं दूंगा. He's just out of form. और उसके ये पैचेस आते रहते हैं हर सीजन, बट ये थोड़ा लंबा चल रहा है, थोड़ा ड्रैग हो रहा है. He looks he आप अजय भाई जानते हो लौतारो का एक वो ट्रेंड रहता है. Even when he doesn't score, he's always working his ass off. He's always doing stuff off like that bull. That's why he's called El Toro, right? Like he's always doing
Yeah, yeah.
something or the other. वो भी मिसिंग है. अगर आप देखो उसके टचेस भी मेस अप हो रहे. He's unable to do his usual thing. So that he's out of form. That's B. Kiwu, you can see the inexperience, the substitutions he makes. Um, against AC Milan, why was Fratesi coming on so late into the game? Again, even Fratesi generally, why does he play? Why does he? अगर वो नहीं कर पा रहा है उसको मत खिलाओ. You might as well if you're fielding Fratesi, Ajay, you watch Fratesi play. The guy cannot pass. The guy cannot control the ball. All he can do is just run like a road runner, right? So if Fratesi anyways is doing what Andy Diouf can do, you might as feel Andy Diouf because he's still adapting. और at least वो risk ले रहे हो आप और शायद थोड़ा determination दिखा है. Fratesi looks out of it, right? These decisions. Louis, like Carlos Augusto as right wing back. Bhai, I don't know if you saw him much, but he's struggling. Like he's not a right wing back.
He's not. He's
He,
not. He's not. I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
I would
All
play him as a left center back, but not as a right wing back.
Exactly, and every defender of the opposition team was pushing him onto his weak foot. And I'm like, भाई तुझे दिख रहा है. Just feel Luis Enrique. I know Denzel Dumfries is out for a while. He's going to come back between the Liverpool game and whatnot. Just play Luis Enrique. कुछ तो faith रखो बंदे में. मतलब just play him at this point. And generally, Jan Sommer, like coming back to the players, like what is this guy doing? Like I love the guy, but आई थिंक हो गया, जैसे मैंने बोला लाइक वो आपने देखा मिलान डर्बी में अजय भाई, वो सालेमाकस के शॉट पे कुछ पावर नहीं था, लाइक
Yeah,
दैट वाज,
he should have let it go. To be
ही
honest, he
शुड
should
हैव
have.
लेट इट गो. या
That shot was going wide.
he did the same thing against Atletico Madrid, but luckily the defenders were there to clear. सॉम्बर को छोड़ू, फिर अगर मैं बात करूं बरेला, लाइक लुक बरेला इज क्लास, आई लव हिम, बट उससे भी थोड़े एरर्स हो रहे. I come to the coaching staff. If you see, if you did you see the goal we conceded against Atletico Madrid, the winning goal? We've, as coaching staff, this season has decided to adopt this zonal marking system. वी डोंट डू जोनल मार्किंग. अगर आप सिमोने इंजाकी के अंदर देखो ना, इट्स ऑल मैन मार्किंग प्लस मिक्स. वो जोनल मार्किंग केस में हिमेनेज ने आके गोल मार दिया बिकॉज वी फेल टू मार्क आवर मैन. दिस इज ऑन द कोचिंग स्टाफ. सो डज दिस शो इन एक्सपीरियंस ऑन कीवो एंड हिज कोचिंग स्टाफ? Remains to be seen. I'm noticing all these minute things basically. जो suddenly, which where we were beating all these big teams left, right, center, we've now we are now losing to everyone. अगर आप रिकॉर्ड देखो लास्ट 2 साल में, we have not, yeah, we've not beaten the big teams like back to back to back. It's a worrying record. It's a
Yeah,
problem. And mentality, Ajay bhai, lastly the mentality. What has happened to these players? आप एक यूसीएल फाइनल हारे, चलो हारे, you got trashed, you got embarrassed, fair enough. And Kivu actually uplifted them from that. But how are you showing up to every game? You're outplaying your opponent. Ajay, if you see the chances created against Atleti, against Milan, आपने देखा Menion had to make wonder saves. And Menion
yeah,
was fantastic. He was the man of the match.
yeah,
They deserve to win it, no doubt. But how are you not managing to show the mentality to finish those chances? Ajay bhai, tap-ins miss हो रहे हैं, open goal miss हो, like open goals भी miss हो रहे हैं, scoreable chances which a prime Inter would eat for breakfast, like जो बायर्न के अगेंस्ट,
yeah,
बारसा के अगेंस्ट
yeah,
मारे थे. But like Dimarco hitting the post against Atletico, Barella hitting the post against Atletico. It's under Hakan, who rarely misses a penalty, got his penalty saved against Menion. So
yeah,
it's like moments have gone wrong, mentality is not there. थोड़ा बेसिकली रिवर्स ट्रेंड चल रहा है. बोलते हैं ना कि एंड ऑफ अ साइकिल. आई डोंट थिंक इट्स एंड ऑफ अ साइकिल, बट यू नो व्हेन दैट साइकिल स्टार्ट्स काइंड ऑफ वेयरिंग ऑफ, थोड़ा यू नीड टू रिफ्रेश इट इवन मोर देन यू थॉट यू वुड हैव डन एक्चुअली. वो फेज में अटके हम लोग. वी डिड नॉट डू इनफ इन द मार्केट. वी डिड नॉट साइन अ डिफेंडर. वी डिड नॉट साइन दैट मिडफील्डर. व्हाई डू यू थिंक, अजय, विद ऑल ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट टू रोमा, व्हाई डू यू थिंक वी वांटेड मनुको ने? बिकॉज आप जानते हो हमारा मिडफील्ड इजीली स्लाइस थ्रू हो रहा है. That's B. The players are not delivering. So there is a problem. And then now what will happen, Ajay? Simple thing, long story short, क्यू पे अगर यही ट्रेंड चलता रहा, क्यू पे आएंगे क्वेश्चंस. एज मच एज आई विल डिफेंड हिम, there is a point you also have to ask questions and say, bhai, what can he do? Because how is he going to manage through this? If there is another major dip, how does he uplift them like he did after the UCL finals? Is this going to be like the 2023 season where we lost 12 games in the league? We've already lost 3-4, right? So it's not a good sign. It's a tough moment. Like I think वही मैं जो बोला था कि realistic expectation होना चाहिए. आप चैंपियंस लीग में अगले राउंड तक जाओ, राउंड ऑफ 16. आई एम नॉट सेइंग प्लेऑफ्स, यू हैव टू गेट दैट राउंड ऑफ 16. राउंड ऑफ 16 के बाद जो होगा वो होगा. कोपा इटालिया में एटलीस्ट गेट टू द सेमीज. सुपर कोपा में एटलीस्ट एक मैच जीतो और फाइनल तक पहुंचो, फिर देखते हैं. एंड लीग में आई नो स्कुडेटो, बिकॉज it's not done and dusted. You put up a fight for the Scudetto. Top four is a must. With all due respect, top four is a must. You have to get it. I know there is competition, but you can't miss out on the top four. So yeah, we have to lower our expectations. मैं starting में ही बोला था, because there is confusion at Inter. There is a sense of entitlement and arrogance up within the management. The players seem a bit lost. Dumfries, whether it's Lautaro, anyone. And yeah, it remains to be seen how Inter navigate themselves out of this. It is a big loss after Simone Inzaghi left. ऐसे नहीं होता, मैजिक नहीं होता है कि एक इनएक्सपीरियंस कोच आके सब कुछ फिक्स करे. So and Kivu also, यार अजय, like you've seen Kivu, उसके एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस, ही इज रियली ट्राइंग, बट थोड़ी चीजें यू कैन सी ही इज इनएक्सपीरियंस इन दीज रिगार्ड. सो it is tough. Like I don't know जनवरी में क्या करेंगे ये लोग. Do we need a striker? I don't think so. Do we need a defender? Absolutely yes. But do I think Inter will do it? Absolutely not. So yeah, let's see. Tactically तो वही खेलने वाले. You have to start this weekend by beating Pisa. I know Pisa, Ajay, you've seen they've caught form. They got their first win. They're out of the relegation zone. You said it, Gilardino started to hit, so that's not going to be easy as it seems. The only real player I want to give credit to before I close this is Bonni. Like दिस किड इज शोइंग वीक इन वीक आउट कि भाई मैं ही सीरियस एक बंदा हूं जो कंसिस्टेंटली परफॉर्म कर रहा है. किसने असिस्ट दिया अगेंस्ट एटलेटिको मैड्रिड? बॉनी. ज़िएलिंस्की को असिस्ट बॉनी ने दिया. ही इज द
was a
ओनली
good
वन.
goal.
आई या गुड गोल. ज़िएलिंस्की आल्सो. वन थिंग अगेन, सॉरी, कीवो को मैं एक क्रेडिट दूंगा, वो सिमोने इंजागी से ज्यादा बेंच प्लेयर्स को बेटर यूज कर रहा है, टाइम दे रहा है वो. जस्ट किक फ्रेटेजी आउट एंड आई एम फाइन विद दैट. लाइक ही इज जस्ट द ओनली वन यूजलेस गाय फॉर मी इन देयर. एंड या, आई थिंक Ajay भाई, that Atletico Madrid defeat RS asked us earlier, it really stung because I told you right on this group. I don't like on the group chat. I said this, Ajay. My simple logic, right? Fratesi came on as a sub. The desire I saw from him zero. Jose Maria Jimenez was tired in the second half. He could not run. He was getting beat left, right, and center. He's the one who ran in and scored the winner. See the difference. The grit. The grit I'm talking about that Inter had has completely gone, or not completely, for the most part has gone. You've watched us over the years, right, Ajay? What are we known for? For our grit, for our determination. How did we beat Barcelona? How did we beat Bayern Munich? With that grit, playing that solid, compact game. That seems to have gone suddenly from Inter. And that is my problem, and that is why I feel we are losing these games. अटलेटिको मैड्रिड में जो प्लेयर भाग नहीं पा रहे, चल नहीं पा रहा है, आके 92nd मिनट पे विनर मार के चला गया. That's the problem with Inter, basically, in my opinion at least. So yeah, we can cap this off. बाकी के
Let's move on to Serie A game week
prediction.
13
Yeah,
prediction.
I'll pull it
And,
up. By the way, जो भी 534.
कमेंट्स दो परम का इंटर का जो ब्रेकडाउन है उस पे जरा आप
Yeah,
कमेंट
yeah, of course.
दीजिए.
Give your thoughts on
536
that.
people watching, few
536
humans,
people,
mostly
of
bots.
course. एग्जैक्टली exactly. जो भी 540 लोग देख रहे, प्लीज लाइक करो यार. मतलब 500 लाइक तो होनी चाहिए स्ट्रीम पे. बट आई एग्री, ही इज द मोस्ट नॉन ब्राजीलियन प्लेयर. बट let me just pull up the match day this thing.
By the way, Shivam, even I love Jimenez, man. What a player, old school defender है भाई. And you know,
No,
very under the radar, I would say. A lot of people still remember
yeah,
Miranda, Godin, but Jimenez is also right up there as one of
yeah,
the
yeah,
modern day wonderful centre backs with
yeah.
that leadership ability and that hero ability.
एंड जस्ट एक चीज और मैं लास्ट बोलना चाहता था, सॉरी. द थिंग इज ना, जब सिंपल चीज है. Some people are saying Inter is playing this opposite way of what they played. I said, right, I said, right, we used to play this compact game sitting behind, and now we're playing this kind of flashy game, and they're blaming that as the reason for Inter losing. I don't buy that. See, at the end of the day, we wasted our chances. If you saw that Atletico game, we created chances left, right, center. We were entering that final third like not like. But if you see the goal Atleti scored, right, they just needed one half chance to score it, that deflection or ये वो. But what did Inter do? Inter had 1,000 chances, but एक goal मुश्किल से आया. So another problem mentally plus taking their chances. But anyways, let me get to the predictions. I'm just pulling up the this thing fixture list. आज रात को ही है Como Sassuolo. Where is, yeah, why is this not? हाँ, Como Sassuolo 1:15 है. क्या बोलते हो अजय भाई? बिकॉज सासोलो भी ठीक कर रहे हैं, कोमो भी. आई मीन, देयर डूइंग कोमो जस्ट थ्रैश टोरिनो, बाय द वे, ऑब्वियसली. एंड सासोलो ऑब्वियसली थोड़ा मिक्स फॉर्म है, वाइल दे थ्रैश एटालांटा, बट दे वर आल्सो हेल्ड बाय एन इनफॉर्म पिज़्ज़ा. क्या बोलते हो?
I'll go for a Como win here in this. I don't see them losing at home. However good Sassuolo
हाँ.
win, I hope it's a draw. I hope it's a draw, but I think Como are heavy favorites to win.
फेयर. आप लोग गाइस, कम ऑन, कमेंट्स में आप लोग प्रेडिक्शंस चालू करोगे with the team names, right? Como and Sassuolo, ठीक है. मतलब every team has
530 comments आना चाहिए. 530 comments.
530 कमेंट्स आने चाहिए, एग्जैक्टली. बट आई एग्री विद यू अजय. आई थिंक कोमो जीतेगा. आई थिंक निको पास, बाय द वे, जो टॉप स्कोरर है लीग का 5 गोल के साथ, फैंटास्टिक प्लेयर यार. ही ऑनेस्टली अजय भाई, नॉट इवन यंग प्लेयर शाउट्स, जस्ट प्लेयर ऑफ द सीजन शाउट्स भी होने चाहिए ऑलरेडी उसके लिए, एज ऑफ दिस पॉइंट. ऑब्वियसली मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ सासोलो डिसेंट कर रही है. मोहारेमोविच इज इन गुड फॉर्म. इफ आई हैड टू गिव वन प्लेयर, जैसे हमने लास्ट टाइम ये किया था, टू कीप एन आई आउट बेसिस द फिक्सचर, मैं तो सिंपली कोमो से भाई, मतलब I'll just say Nico Pass because it's the easiest thing to do. He's in form for Sassuolo. Personally, right now, um uh, I would say Loriente because वो actually बहुत अच्छा खेल रहा है. He's been very threatening for Sassuolo. But yeah, I'll still go with a Como win, Ajay bhai. ये मतलब I don't see it any other way. Come on, guys, I need to see in the comments. Como 5-0 Sassuolo says Abhijay. Como 3-1 says RS. Siddhant says 3-2 Como. Guys, I want to see more predictions. John Butes has been having a very good season this year. Yes, correct.
Very good.
वो goal. Ajay bhai, imagine these guys were employing Pepe Reina to goal, like rely on. Finally, they signed a sensible goalkeeper for a change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Next, going to Genoa, Hellas. Ajay bhai, मतलब ये तो proper relegation battle. Obviously, BJ की team Hellas and we have Genoa on one side. Ajay bhai, क्या बोलते हो? Because both kind of out of form, as you can see the form here. Genoa का draws, Hellas Verona winless. At least Genoa has one win in there. क्या क्या लग रहा है आपको? इंजरीज तो बहुत ही है दोनों टीम को. मतलब Hellas don't have Swat Sardar, Suzlovski absentees. Even for Genoa, Messias and Norton Cuffy are missing two decent players for them. क्या बोलते हो?
Genoa win this 3 goals to 1.
डेरोसी इफेक्ट है. हाँ, इंटरेस्टिंग इंटरेस्टिंग. 3-1 आप लोग कमेंट्स में दो. आई अग्री विद यू. आई फील वो डेरोसी का थोड़ा इम्प्रिंट रहेगा. एंड आई नो हेलास आर एक्चुअली प्लेइंग सम गुड फुटबॉल. लाइक जियोवाने हैज बीन very good. Like Ajay bhai, like there's not
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
praises for this guy. He's been fantastic. Inter के against भी fantastic goal मारा उसने. He's been playing very well. But Hellas का वही है ना, Ajay bhai, we've been noticing they've been falling short mentally, and I feel Genoa win this. Genoa to win. Uh, तो कमेंट्स में लोग बोल रहे 3-1 हेलास, 2-1 जेनोआ. आरएस बोल रहे जेनोआ 2-0, जेनोआ 2-0 फैंटम एंड शिवम. वेट, व्हाई इज दिस नॉट? हाँ, पार्मा उडिनेज. अजय भाई, oof.
Very tough game to call because
Yeah, this is very tough.
Udinese before the international break were actually doing quite well,
Well,
but then
now
उनका जो result yo-yo result चलते रहता है.
yeah, चलते
Parma
हैं, right?
again, defensively very difficult to break down. So I just think because Parma are at home, Parma will not lose this. Either a win or draw for Parma.
Yeah,
Uh, Udinese it looks difficult. Although Atta has been very good for them.
yeah,
तो
आटा
बोलते हैं
आटा.
आटे का भाव क्या बताऊं, but he's
Yeah,
been I saw him against Roma very
yeah.
closely, very impressed with this guy. But वही है यार, Udinese at home थोड़ा सा difficult है to beat, but away from home I still feel that advantage Parma in all honesty.
Fair, fair. I feel this is draw. This is a draw, as many people are saying in the comments. सिद्धांत बोल रहा है 1-1 ड्रॉ. आरएस बोल रहा है 1-1 नील. बोल रहा है शिवम सिद्धांत भी ड्रॉ बोल रहा है. अभी जैसे परम पारमा, यार ये थोड़े अच्छे जोक्स करे हैं. बट या, टू प्लेयर्स टू कीप एन आई आउट क्विकली. अजय भाई, आर्थर आटा. ऑनेस्टली अंकल शर्मा ने उस दिन ट्वीट किया था, लाइक दिस इज द एंडी, दिस इज व्हाट वी नीड. लाइक ही इज द एंडी ड्यूफ प्रोफाइल. बेसिकली वी नीड एंडी ड्यूफ
Yeah,
की
yeah,
लीग.
yeah.
He's exactly that, and he's actually, because he scored the winner against Inter as well. But honestly, Parma, as you said, have been doing a decent job. Kudos to Cuesta. Matlab, he's proved us wrong. And honestly, but I still think this will be a draw. And yeah, like obviously the big miss for Parma here, given his form, is Zion Suzuki. Actually has a broken hand. That is correct. मैं पहले mention करना भूल गया, but it's quite a serious injury. And Sarkati is also a big miss. But yeah, I expect a draw. We have Juve versus Cagliari, Ajay bhai. Obviously, Spalletti back in charge. Juventus just एक tough game से आई है अजय भाई. बोडो ग्लिम्ट को just 3-2 हराया है. कैलियरी के draws चल रहे. They've been doing an okay job. But Juve between wins and draws. Cagliari we know we've seen थोड़ा fight करते हैं अजय भाई. But still, are you expecting a Juve win, or do you think Cagliari निकाल सकता है कुछ, given the fight?
नहीं, you will win this, but at home you will win this.
I think UAB जीतेगी. While I've liked what I've seen from Cagliari this season, वो determination है. Like these guys, I think if I'm not wrong, Ajay bhai, Cagliari is the team with the most late goals scored this season in terms of equalizers or winners. And I definitely think they'll fight it out. But I think UA edge कर लेगा. I think UA जीत जाएगा ये game. Excuse me. They have a lot of obviously injuries तो है ही दोनों टीम्स की. But yeah, after beating Bodo Glimt, I think UA will be on a very big high. So let's see what the comment says. 2-0 UA. Siddhant, Shivam Sharma says goalless draw, I think, for the Parma this game. Abhijay says 2-0 UA, 2-0 UA, UA win, UA 2-0 Cagliari, says Shivam. So I think all of us are on the same page. Another big game, obviously, Ajay, Milan Lazio. Obviously, इधर आपके लिए confusing है because you want Milan to drop points, but you have Lazio playing them. So
I will never ever want Lazio to win at any given day. So पहले ही बोलूं कि मिलान बीट लाजियो 1-0.
1-0. The thing here is Lazio के absentees list वही है, Cancelleri out है, Rovella. By the way, Rovella का वही development था, right? He did not want to do surgery on his injury. He wanted to do a conservative therapy, and it has backfired because that injury is extended, and now he has to do surgery, which means he'll be out for a long while. So Lazio will miss Rovella, but Milan अजय भाई अच्छे फॉर्म में, Derby win, big win. Modric again in form. पुलिसिच इंजर हो गया बाय द वे फिर से अजय भाई. पुलिसिच मतलब उसकी इंजरीज बढ़ती जा रही है. पुलिसिच इज आउट फॉर दिस गेम. Another big game. I personally feel Milan take this. Like I can't see Milan losing or drawing this. Honestly, if you ask me, even without Pulisic, now that Rabiot is back, his general Allegri's general, I think they'll take it. And Barthez I think will sorry
जनरली वो उसको बच्चा है,
बच्चा है.
बेटा है वो.
Bartes Hagi, I think, will cause a lot of problems. He's been in good form. And those wing backs, essentially, I feel, is where Milan will outdo Lazio. Just quickly, Ajay, how do you see this panning out tactically? Because this is also a big game. I just wanted to talk about it a bit.
Like I just feel that Milan, like you mentioned, on the wide areas and even through the middle, they have enough pace and enough trickery to cause Lazio problems.
Hmm.
Lazio का जो strength है is also in the forward line weirdly because you have Zaccagni who's going through a purple patch.
Hmm.
Isaacson generally does well in the big games. तो वो भी उनका strength है, but that Lazio defense really doesn't give me any confidence. Even that midfield, apart from Toma Basic, I think Vecino
Hmm.
is. We are talking about Vecino in 2025, but I'm almost 26 now.
Insane.
हम लोग November end पे
Yeah.
Vecino starting for a club in at this stage in life. I mean, my God, that just मेरे को और कुछ बोलना ही नहीं उसके बारे में. And
Yeah.
I just feel कि Lazio के issues जो है, it goes far and beyond on the pitch. Off the pitch also there are issues. I know Insigne is very close to signing, but honestly, Param, I just feel that Sari has got his work cut out. Allegri knows how to get the job done. I think this Milan team is very solid. They will dictate that midfield with Rabiot, with Modric, and even with Fofana for that matter against Zazo. They will control the pace and tempo of the
Yeah.
game, and
Yeah.
they will get that decisive goal. And uske baad mein they'll kind of like manage the game and come away with all 3 points.
Yeah. I agree. I think see देखो tactically ना सारी वही try करेगा कि he'll try to because this Lazio ना थोड़ा if you see they try to stay compact and they try to kind of play this vertical game whenever they win the ball back. But honestly, against this Milan team without Rovella, without Cancellieri, it's a tough job. जैसे आपने बोला टॉमा बासिच एक
Sari
अपना कर रहा
Sari has got no plan B, Param, in this particular
है. Yeah,
Lazio. I
I
mean,
agree.
I don't blame him. उतने players ही नहीं उसके पास में plan B करने के.
या ऑनेस्टली लाइक अगर उसको बिल्ड आउट भी करना हो तो हीला ही है जो एक फॉर्म में है. रोमानियोली कांट रियली प्ले द बॉल. देन वो फुल बैक्स तो भाई उनकी बात ही मत करो. मतलब इन 2025 आई एम सॉरी मारुसिच एंड लज्जारी. मतलब मैं क्या ही बोलूं. मतलब आई डोंट नो. बुलाई दिया जो पूरा एक टाइम का बुलाई दिया था वो तो है ही नहीं. जब इज अ शैडो ऑफ हिमसेल्फ.
क्या
एंड
तुझे
एसी मिलान वाइल
तुझे भुला दिया? क्या बोला तूने?
सॉरी.
तूने क्या बोला? तुझे भुला दिया ऐसा को तो बोला तूने?
नहीं यार मैंने just yeah but I was just saying कि बुला ही दिया out of form. And then if you see on the AC Milan side of things, right Ajay bhai, weirdly enough we've seen AC Milan drop points against teams they're expected to win, but still you have those consistent difference makers like Salemakers, Modric, Bartes ये तीन को चला के आप कैसे तो चला सकते हो. That's why I feel kind of whatever it is, I still feel Milan will basically take this game. And let me see next game क्या है. Lecce Torino. Oh,
बॉट्स निकल गए परम, बॉट्स निकल गए,
sorry.
बॉट्स निकल गए, बॉट्स.
Bots निकल गए. That's yeah. Finally bots चले गए. यार 500 लोग थे
एंड
यार. मस्त मजा.
And by the way, Shivam, just to add into this comment, I have to also mention Bernardeschi, who scored in back-to-back games now. Federico
Yeah.
Bernardeschi is also back.
No, but I'm sorry,
Federico,
Gattuso can't be falling for that nonsense. Sorry. नहीं because sorry Bernardeschi has come back with that agenda कि उसको national team में खेलना है. If Italy want to qualify
yes.
for the World Cup, please don't take him. That's all I would say. But yeah, quickly Ajay bhai क्या लगता है because this is weird now because लेचे अगेन थोड़ा फॉर्म मिक्स्ड बैग. ये वो डी फ्रेंचेस को अपना कैसे तो जॉब बचा लेता है. फनीली ना वजह में when Fiorentina were playing Lecce, both of their jobs were at risk, and Di Francesco beat Pioli. So that was hilarious. But again, Torino got smashed at home. They've been drawing. Baroni still has his job, but क्या लग रहा है this game? Like I don't know how to. I think this is a tough game to call. To be honest, this is very tough. I don't know what to
Yeah,
predict here.
yeah. It could go either way, but that's why I'm going to go for a draw in this one.
Same, same.
Nil
I
nil.
think this is a draw.
Nil nil
Comment,
draw.
yeah. क्या कमेंट्स में भी लोग मिलान विन बोल रहे थे पहले टोरिनो विन आरएस सेज अगेन और भी प्रेडिक्शंस लाते रहो गाइस वी हैव पिज़्ज़ा इंटर नेराज़ूरी वर्सेस नेराज़ूरी आपसे चालू करता हूं मैं अजय भाई क्या बोलते हो बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली आई थिंक मिकिटारियन इज फाइनली बैक फॉर इंटर डम्फ्रीज इज आउट Darmian is still out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it for us. But Pisa have been in good form. Like whatever it is, they've beaten Cremonese, they've held Sassuolo, they've been in decent form. But they have a lot of key players out. Ajay bhai, the two main players for them actually, Quadrado जो अच्छा कर रहा था और Akinsan Miro, very good talent owned by Inter, he's also out. तो आपको लग रहा है that's going to play a big role and Pisa can't sustain क्या बोल रहे हो?
I think it's a very difficult ask for Pizza because Inter would be coming from a defeat and they'll be looking to kind of start very solid and start quickly right away. तो ये एक अलग ही challenge है Pizza के लिए. I just feel that maybe on the night it'll be too much for Pizza. I think they might score a goal, Pizza, but I think Inter will get all 3 points. 2-1 win to Inter.
Hmm. I've read in this game finally Luis Enrique will start. But इस गेम में सिंपल मैं चीज बोलूंगा एज अ फैन आई वांट टू सी रोटेशन आई एम लाइक भाई कुछ तो करो मतलब like just play some other like stop playing the same bunch that is making errors. I want to see Luis Enrique on the right. I want to see Pio Esposito and Boni pairing. I want to see Sucic. I want to see Zielinski, Dio face सबको खिलाओ भाई मतलब क्या ही with all due respect to Pisa, I'm not saying Pisa are bad. As I said, Pisa are in form, so it's a risk. But this is the game. Inter again. I think we will win. I mean, we have to win because you have to also remember, Ajay, it's Roma versus Napoli. उधर अगर draw होता है, तो then you're kind of closing the gap again. Milan, Lazio भी है. There
Yeah,
is if there's a draw, then again you're closing the gap. So with all due respect to Pisa, I mean, sorry, with all due respect to Pisa, I think we will win this, but it won't be easy. I go for like a given the way we are playing, given the mood and everything, I'll go for like a 1-0 Inter or a 2-1 Inter. I won't be surprised if we concede a goal. वो तो अभी आदत हो गई है. 1-0 Torino, 2-0 Torino says Siddhant and RS, 3-0 Inter says RS, 2-0 Inter says Siddhant, 1-0 Torino says Phantom. Quadrado is out here, Abhijay. मतलब celebrating his cupping his ears, but he's out for the match. So मतलब वो कैसे ही करेगा. Another interesting game अजय actually Atalanta versus Fiorentina. मतलब क्या लगता है Palladino against his former side already क्या बोलते हो?
I think Atlanta win this year.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they will. Lot of issues with Fiorentina. I think Atlanta will come out 3-0 winners in this. I don't see how Fiorentina can really pull off an upset here. I think they lost yesterday to AEK Athens, was it?
AEK
The
Athens, yeah,
UEFA Conference.
they lost. Yep,
So,
yep, yep.
so वहाँ पे ही उनको एक कॉन्फिडेंस पे डेंट आ चुका है. I think they will. I think Palladino. We will see Atlanta now push up the table. They will start moving upwards.
Yeah,
So I think they win
I
3-0.
agree. I agree. I think Atalanta जीतेगा. I think I feel it'll be not too much of a hassle for them. Again, Atalanta recently just beat Eintracht Frankfurt 3-0 and that was a quite solid win. Fiorentina मतलब लीग में अभी तक गेम नहीं जीते relegation zone में and it's a big task. Yeah. Although I feel under Vanoli we'll see a fight, but it'll be too much. It's not an easy position to be in, right? Ajay, I think Atalanta will win this. आप लोग भी कमेंट्स बताओ 3-1 Atalanta. Shivam says 3-1 to Inter as well. Guys, I want to see more comments. Close ही कर रहे अभी स्ट्रीम हम. लास्ट रोमा नापोली की हम दोनों ने तो प्रेडिक्ट की थी. आपने आई थिंक आपने नापोली विन बोला था, मैंने ड्रॉप बोला था. कमेंट्स में भी मैं देखना चाहता हूँ लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं रोमा नापोली के लिए. हमने इस पे कर दिया है प्रीव्यू, सो गो बैक इन द स्ट्रीम एंड वॉच. 2-0 Atalanta says RS, Phantom says 2-1 Inter, 3-1 Atalanta says Siddhant. Bologna Cremonese will close the weekend, Ajay bhai, Serie A weekend 2nd December को. But Bologna, Ajay bhai, just 2 cents I just wanted to give because my word have they been amazing. My word, like the
They have been
turnaround.
amazing.
Yeah, and honestly मेरे को देख के लगता है how the hell are they just obviously the points gap is very less on it. If you really think about it, Ajay bhai, I'm just thinking right now, if you drop points, if Milan drop points, and if Bologna and Inter
Bologna could go top of the table, yeah.
Yeah, and it's only like Bologna and Inter have a chance. Like forget Inter for a second, but we're looking at Bologna. It's madness. Like for all the criticism I have given
You
Italian,
you will have to make a public apology video for Vincenzo Italiano. I think
वो
अभिजय तू एक काम कर भाई, अभिजय अगर देखो समय मिलता तू जाके पुरानी स्ट्रीम से क्लिप कर जहाँ पे भी परम ने गाली दिया हुआ है इटालियानो को, और उसे तू बनवा, हम लोग बनवाएंगे, चल वो काम
but
हमारा,
but
तू सिर्फ वो क्लिप
but to
क्लिप्स
be
को
fair, those
साथ में,
critics,
नहीं नहीं नहीं
but
नहीं, टू बी फेयर नथिंग परम, टू बी फेयर नथिंग, अभिजय तहकीकात करेगा, ही इज आफ्टर एसीपी प्राद्यु मैन, ही इज द नेक्स्ट एसीपी in CID. He will bring those clips. I will clip them together and ensure that you record an apology video for Vincenzo Italiano.
नहीं यार मतलब honestly to be fair at that time the criticism was more than valid, but ठीक है नहीं. I mean if it happens that he wins the league or whatever he does, definitely I'll have to make an apology video, or even if he gets a Champions League spot, to be fair. But नहीं Ajay bhai, quickly, like these guys, like regardless of the injuries, like है मतलब कैम्बियागी हमने देखा इटली के लिए कॉल अप हुआ, फिर से इंजर हो गया, फॉर्म भी पकड़ा था. इफ यू सॉ कैम्बियागी स्कोर्ड एंड असिस्टेड, they've beaten Salzburg, they've thrashed Udinese as well, they beat what that Napoli game was peak. Ajay bhai, like I saw it, I was not here but I watched the game, the way they beat Napoli here. Ajay bhai, you know home में मतलब I don't know how do we even beat these guys at home, like how do you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
it's very difficult.
Like, एक साल होने आ गया ना, दिसंबर ही था ना लास्ट टाइम भी दे लॉस्ट, दिसंबर ही था
Yeah, yeah,
लास्ट
December
से.
also.
एक साल होने आ गया अभी, तो एक साल
Yeah,
एनिवर्सरी होने आ गई.
yeah,
बट
yeah.
एंड ऑन द अदर साइड एज वेल क्रेमोनेज आर डूइंग ओके. आई मीन सी दे हैव बीन ऑन अ अनफॉर्चुनेट लूजिंग रन, बट स्टिल वो लोग ने स्टार्ट इतना अच्छा किया था जब कि दे स्टिल फाइंड देमसेल्व्स इन अ रिस्पेक्टेबल
Yeah,
पोजीशन ऑन द टेबल.
yeah, yeah.
अनफॉर्चुनेट फॉर वाडी कि एक्चुअली उसका घर पे रॉबरी हो गई बहुत बड़ी, सो होपफुली ही इज फाइन एंड व्हाट नॉट. बट क्रेमोनेज आर स्टिल डिसेंट. डू यू एक्सपेक्ट देम टू गिव अ फाइट, और दिस इज अ बोलोनिया विन considering
Bologna
their
win.
record?
Bologna win, hands down.
Yeah, I agree. Bologna to win, and honestly, two players to keep an eye out. मैं honestly बोलूंगा जैसे शिवम ने बोला है. I have been watching Hegem as well at Bologna. He's been great. He's been amazing. Emil Holm, funnily enough, Ajay bhai, Shivam is saying best right back. उसका एक वही स्टोरी है कि he used to constantly get injured, and उसने जब से अपना wisdom tooth का situation sort कर दिया, if you know right the whole thing, he stopped getting injured because there's a connection between wisdom tooth and the injury he was getting. This is something Cesc Fabregas had done in the past as well when he was playing. So, but if you see Ajay, the squad is also very complete. Right? अपने मतलब बर्नार्डिस की मार रहा है, ऑडगार्ड है, डालिंगा है, कास्ट्रो के अभी अब देखो कास्ट्रो इज इन फॉर्म, राइट? कास्ट्रो इज बीन स्कोरिंग बेल्टर्स अगेन. So it's just going very well for Bologna, and honestly, yeah, I mean, you have to give them credit. Hats off to these guys, honestly. And Cremonese, say honestly, see, Jamie Vardy has actually been playing decent. I've watched. He's doing a decent job. Mascherotto तो है ही. You have to keep an eye on Terracciano because वो भी ढंग का job कर रहा है उनकी तरफ से. So let's see. People in the comments are saying 2-1 Vardy goal. Bologna wins though. 2-0 Atalanta says Phantom. 3-0 Bologna says RS. सिद्धांत says easy Bologna win. एक बनाई तो थी आप लोगों ने apology video. Yes, अभिजय बराबर बोल रहा है, but I don't think I was on it, right? Or was
Na
I?
na na, Abhijay, tu jaake you go and clip all of those anti-Italiano comments. Then we will make a new. Param will
But
make an
again,
apology video, not me.
but again,
But
those were
Param,
more than.
Param,
हाँ.
just 1 second, there's a contribution from Arman. Thanks so much, Arman. And भाई इंडियन फुटबॉल के बारे में मैं एक अभी वीडियो मैंने बनाया, मैं एडिट करूंगा ये वीकेंड पे. उसका टाइटल बहुत ही सिंपल है, इंडियन फुटबॉल इज डेड, इट इज व्हाट इट इज. मैं आप लोगों को अंदर की बात सुना सकता हूँ. बहुत सारे जो ओनरशिप्स है, ठीक है, विदाउट नेमिंग एनी ओनरशिप, दे आर ऑन द वर्ज ऑफ लीविंग
Yeah,
Indian football. Foreign
yeah,
owners are leaving
yeah,
Indian football.
yeah.
You will get to see the ISL happen in the new year, but it's going to be a very different ISL. But this could be the culmination of ISL in the format that we used to, we've been used to for all
I
these
mean,
years. We could have a new league format altogether from next year, जहाँ पे the Kolkata clubs will be back in power. Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, they would be in. It'll be like say I League on steroids. That is what it's going to be. But this is a again best case scenario. अब ये यहाँ से वहां तक बहुत कुछ हो सकता है. It could get derailed altogether. but this is what is happening. You will have, I'll just repeat myself, there are a lot of big names that are considering leaving Indian football. Most of them
Yeah.
have already started the process of leaving Indian football. B, you will have ISL. ISL will be in a very truncated form. It will not be in the same year. This could be the last year of ISL as we know it. We could have a brand new Indian league which would comply to all norms. In the best case scenario, जहाँ पे Mohan Bagan would be the top dog once again, which is why they went for Sergio Lovera. They knew that now it is they will be the torchbearer of Indian football going forward. So this
By the
is
way,
what I've heard from people.
by
Don't
the
quote
hiring
me. ये
Sergio
मैंने
Lovera in 20.
no, but ये मैंने quote unquote मैंने काफी लोगों से जब मैंने बात किया, that's what I've come to know. These are still not official statements, so don't take my word on it.
Yeah, see, I have also working in this industry. I've also heard a lot of things, but I can't give my piece because I
You are
can't. If
still
I
working.
not just that, if I give my piece, then रहने ही दो. मतलब मैं उस बोट पे जाना ही नहीं चाहता. Anyways, it's not about me working only. There are 10 other things, but my point is what Ajay bhai said is pretty much obviously इधर का उधर हो सकता है, but there is a mess which we've known or this day was coming. Look, we should not be surprised. First of all, thank you for the donation. I would say thank you for the comment and donation. We always appreciate it. But as we close this stream, all I can say is this day was coming. ये देखो, हम इस इंडस्ट्री में काम करते हैं. अजय भाई कर चुके हैं, मैं करता हूँ. We've seen the ins and outs of this. We've seen it all. We continue to see it all. We know people who know it, who know all these things. क्या चलता है? This day was coming, and honestly, it's heartbreaking. But after a point, you look at things and you say, भाई क्या ही कर सकते हैं, right? Because we recently you saw we lost to Bangladesh. Were you surprised? I was not. मैंने तो लॉस प्रेडिक्ट करके रखा था. Like मतलब मुझे तो पता था हम लोग हारने वाले, because Bangladesh are actually a decent side. As someone who
Yeah.
loves international football, and I can tell you, just like giving you context, Haiti qualified for the World Cup. Curacao qualified for the World Cup. I know their cause gets benefited with the fact that uh, the top three of CONCACAF automatically qualified for the World Cup. But let me tell you, Haiti, अगर आप हेटी के बारे में 2% नॉलेज भी, मतलब आई एम नॉट सेइंग दिस आउट ऑफ एरोगेंस, आई एम जस्ट सेइंग अगर आपने हेटी के बारे में एज अ कंट्री, जस्ट नॉट इन फुटबॉलिंग सेंस, राइट अजय, एज अ कंट्री 2% भी रिसर्च किया ना, 2%, then the amount of turmoil that exists in that country, right? From the politics, from everything, from natural disasters, politics, you have to look and see how the hell, even with in such a situation, how the hell has that country qualified for a FIFA World Cup? It's next to, it's unbelievable. Such a country has actually made it, and kudos to them, or much respect to them. And then we are a laughing stock because we deserve to be laughed at, honestly. It, as I say this, it obviously hurts me because I want us to be in such a position where we can fight for our Asian Cup spot or a World Cup spot, whatever. But the reality is we're not there. We are terrible. This goes at every level, as Ajay bhai said, the top. We know it's a vicious circle, right, Ajay bhai? There is no loop, there is no way out of it. It's the top, it's the middle, it's the bottom, it's the players, it's everyone. Everybody is everybody is the root cause of this problem. Not just grassroots, ये सब लोग का अपना गेम रहता है इधर. So what we are, जो अपना हो रहा है, it was coming. And जैसे अजय भाई ने बोला ना, whatever will happen, I also think the ISL will happen eventually. But it's, as Ajay bhai says, it's going to be I League on steroids, and these guys will again get an excuse, Ajay bhai, to not get relegation promotion. That will continue this bullshit of this American model कि जा चलो जो टीम खेल रहा है खेल ले, तो टाइम पास के लिए. I League clubs will suffer because you have to realize this, Ajay bhai. I League clubs, while they're independent, right, of this, they cannot start their league unless this ISL figures themselves out. So they are
Yeah,
stuck.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
IWL के भी अभी जस्ट RFQ आया है, टेंडर्स आ रहे हैं, बिड्स आ रहे हैं, पर वो भी होगा कि नहीं पता नहीं. द women are suffering because of this indirectly, because the AIFF is incompetent. The women's potential, we know Ajay, the women's team is far more capable and they're actually good, but उनका time and resources waste हो रहे हैं, so everybody is suffering. So yeah, kudos to AIFF, as I said, kudos to them for creating this shit show. Actually जो मैं अभी recently event पे था ना, जब मानसुक मांडविया was there, so I was also thinking कि ये कुछ करने वाला है कि नहीं, but
तू
and this is funny.
मानसुक मंडावे को बोल, मानसुक मंडावे को पहले बोल कैल्चो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करने के लिए, बस और कुछ नहीं.
Subscribe करें.
वो तो करवा दो,
funnily
एक
enough, if
सब्सक्राइबर
you
बढ़ा दे दो।
एक से होपफुली ऐसा कोई देना है, बट फनीली इनफ अपने ही देश में अजब ऐसा हो सकता है कि मानसुख मंडवी हैज टू आस्क the AIFF president to resign and he can say no to it freely. I mean, that is just hilarious. Just it tells you the state of things, Ajay, man. This is why you know why we as fans also like we watch Indian football, but we know there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And as Shivam said, कोई भी हरा सकता है अपने को. तुम सैन मरीनो को खिलाओ. तुम कल ना मैं बोलता हूँ कल तुम चारकोप को एक कंट्री बनाओ. चारकोप को इंडिया के आगे लाइक चारकोप जैसे कोई स्मॉल रीजन को दूसरे देश में. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से. Like I don't know why I came up with Charkop, but I'm just saying कुछ छोटे
Because
गली को एक
you stay in Charkov, that's why.
या एक एक गली को एक देश बना दो. वो लोग दूसरे देश से उठाओ. वो लोग भी आके अपने को हरा देंगे. सिंपल एज दैट. दैट्स द स्टेट ऑफ इट. सो या बट इनफ इंडियन फुटबॉल. नहीं तो और 3 घंटे चलेगा ये रैंट. Yeah, exactly. See, this is what, right, Ajay? Like it's not like they had it easy. They had a tough group. And look at India. We had a decent chance. We managed to F it up. But yeah, we have some big Ajay Bhai fans here. Men and Ball. Men and Ball is a good term. You should probably kind of copyright it and put it on merch. We want Men and League. ये भाई मतलब ISL नहीं. We should call it Men and League. I guess you should only bid for the tender maybe. क्या ही बोले. But any final comments, guys? लाते रहो. We'll take those and close in. Ajay, any final thoughts as we close the stream?
नहीं भाई, all well. Let's hope that we have a cracking weekend of Serie A action, and I can continue the fantastic week. One week has been excellent. I've been smiling from year to year. Let's hope that continues all the way till match day 38.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I get where you're coming from. Obviously, मैं तो obviously as an interista hope करूंगा कि भाई जिसको ड्रॉप करना है पॉइंट्स ड्रॉप करे हमारे सिवाय और कुछ कैरेक्टर दिखाए इंटर. I mean, these are very unusual days after the Simone Inzaghi era, but being an Inter fan, I've seen this movie over the decades. But yeah, all I can say is we win. But hoping for a good Serie A weekend, hoping for an entertaining Serie A weekend. Serie A डजोन पे आप देख सकते हो. अजय if I'm not wrong, उन्होंने अपना कॉस्ट बढ़ा दिया राइट फिर से. That whole drama, like how much does it cost
पता
now?
नहीं,
1,000
पता
के
नहीं
ऊपर है. किसी को पता होगा तो आई थिंक 1,000 के ऊपर हो गया ना अभी तो. अनफॉर्चुनेटली इट्स बिकम मोर एक्सपेंसिव गाइस. I mean, we can't review it. We are tired of this, but unfortunately, it is what it is. ये वाला हेयर स्टाइल अच्छा है जब मैं बंडाना बंद कर दूं. I think I agree. I think I
Bandana
agree.
retired. Bandana is retired.
Vandana is retired. Good. But नहीं यार guys, thank you for tuning in. जो 500 लोग ट्यून इन किए थे 500 लोगों ने ट्यून इन किया. Please do like, share and subscribe. Please do like, share and subscribe to Ajay Bhai's channel as well. Obviously, he has more content on his way and Calcio चर्चा पे आ रहा है. Do one shout out I want to give is to Kostub. He has started making reels on Instagram on football in general. His thoughts, but उसमें वो Calcio पे भी reels बनाता है. So do give his reels a watch because they're very interesting. Simple जहाँ वो story बोलता है उसके experience से. It's very simple. It's very natural. Do give Kostub's reels a watch and हमारी reels को भी देखते रहो. And please do go if you've not watched कैपुचिनो पे चर्चा जो हमारा नया आईपी है जो हमारा नया काइंड ऑफ सेक्शन है उसके भी वीडियोस जाके देखो. कैल्चियो चर्चा के ही इस पे है वीडियो सेक्शन में है. इट्स नॉट अ सेपरेट चैनल. It's in Calcio Church, but please do watch those episodes as well. More of those episodes to come. Tomorrow is one episode which will be filmed, so that will be out in the next few weeks. Ajay Bhai is going. Unfortunately, I cannot be there because I have to go to work. But definitely, do show that a lot of love and let's continue to grow this journey, guys. To the road, we are on the road to 3K, so let's keep this going. I don't see any more comments, so we can wrap up the stream. Ciao. We'll see you guys very soon. Mihir just joined, I think.